I'm going to go through a sample proposal. This was a different type of study. I found this online. It kind of had a different way about it. Will you have a cover page with yours? Yes. Will you have a reference page with yours? Yes, that's 2 pages. Will you have a third page that has an abstract to it? Yes, that's already 3 pages, and the rest will be your kind of proposal way. So she has her abstract here. Proposed research is designed to address this and that. The focus of the study is on this. Participants will be 600 newly immigrant elementary school students. Participated students going into more procedural stuff. You can choose to do that. The thing that is not done too much here, but in your final product, not for your draft on Tuesday, she just has kind of one result section statement, a prediction. You'll actually have more than that for the final proposal that you write. You don't need to have that for Tuesday. And it kind of goes through that. So the research proposal, proposed study is designed to address this, kind of gets right into it. Is there a lot of epidemiological stuff cited at the start of this one? Not so much. It's really, it's your option. I think the one I came up with in asthma is a little more closer to what you want to do, but a lot of citations here, right? Here's what's been done, here's what's been found. Could it be useful for you to have recent overviews of the literature? Yep, that could be not what's due on Tuesday, but after the break. That's where I put, we did a Google search because I needed to, but you could have, Cochrane reviews on cognitive behavioral therapy, on X and Y, and kind of cite that. The other term that I forgot to say before, have people heard the term inverted pyramid before? Did my proposal show an inverted pyramid structure? And if so, how?
Because whenever hearing starts with the big, broad category, you kind of narrows down to a very, very specific thing. I'm going just from broad asthma to a particular AES. That was...
Yeah, very specific. We start off with epidemiological information, then we go into review of the current literature. We say this is important first. Review of the literature, 4 articles, summarizing, then current proposal. Do you think I was happy that there were only 4 programs out there? Yeah, I was happy. Why was I happy?
Because it's less work.
So, well, not in terms of writing. I'm happy to write pages and pages, but that means that my program is going to be what? New, different, and better. So recent overviews, they have a lot of citations here, potential antecedents. Notice here, the focus of the proposed study, kind of getting into the hypothesis. You will have that in the end of your intro. The thing I'm not going to have you do, I don't think too much. Yeah, did we have in mind method section? I don't think so. I'm not going to have you, current research study. We're not going to, my class at Virginia Tech, we spent a lot of times going into method. You're not going to do that. We're going to talk about, you're going to run yours this way. Current research study is this, brief program description. You can go into that. You're not going to really have all the details of this other proposal. Will they go into who we collected, how we collected it? They have procedure. What's the procedure that, do I have a little procedural stuff in mind? Will you have some procedural stuff? Yes, and the thing that I would communicate with you about procedure, pretend it's a best case scenario. So who's running stuff on PTSD? Do we have somebody doing something? Say again? So she's not here. So pretend it's a best case scenario. We'll recruit 400 or 20 people or 40 people from X, and just pretend that you're going to get them. I think in mine I said we're getting these people from X, we recruited this way. Just set it up in that way. You won't have to go into all this. If you are using scales, though, are some of you going to be measuring things? So if you are using scales to measure things, you kind of have to cite those and say a little bit about it. Do they do that here? Yeah, adjustment measures, child's depression inventory short form, harder self-perception profile, reliability and validity. Just say what the scores range from. You don't need to go into great detail. This is not the stat class. Do you need to have proposed data analysis in yours? No, that's where your abstract will be there. You'll say, chi-squared, paired t-test, ANOVA, so you won't have to have this. Significance of finding, that's your one statement at the end of your abstract that'll say, here's how this could be useful. So you won't really have any of this, and then a reference page obviously as well. Does that make sense for people? Any comments or questions about this? So these are posted. And let me go a little more back into mine. Yeah, because you'll have the current research study. Yours will work more like mine because we haven't really focused on this class on method. We're doing X, Y, and Z. Here's the program description. The thing that you'll probably have a little more on. Oops. Prior to the first module, surveys about the following variables were completed. You'll probably want to do a little more with that. Say what these surveys are, how they're scored, give a sample question and have that in there. Does that make sense to people? Did you find some surveys for some of the things you were doing? If you can, that might be useful to do, and you'll talk a little bit about them. I don't really talk about them here, but you'll say, here's what we're going to use to measure things in this proposal, and then if you go back again and look at the abstract, correlation regression, ANOVAs, I'll talk about those a little more after Thanksgiving. This program may be useful in training other people. That's kind of cutting to the chase of the other proposal. Any comments or questions about this process? So for Tuesday, the idea is I need you to put together a draft of what your proposal is going to be and have an abstract posted. It will not be graded to the same criteria that your final product will be, but basically the way this is going to work is you'll post that for Tuesday, and I'll give you critiques on that, and then when we meet after Thanksgiving, we'll go through a lot more on tell me about this. You did the bibliography. Where will the bibliography really fit into your proposal? Can you tie some of those things into the literature review and setting up what you're going to do? Yeah, that's the whole idea. You might have to add a little bit on, if there's surveys. Did we talk about measurement with some of these? Maybe that's what we'll do a little more after Thanksgiving. See if you can find some surveys. And if you want to actually, over Thanksgiving, want to start working on this, this will basically be due. I don't think I put the due date. When do final exams begin here?
It starts the 4th.
The 4th, so I'll probably put this on like the 6th or something, but that'll be your final product. You'll basically have to have an abstract. You'll basically go through and write up a research proposal based on this. You're not going to have a lot of methodology. You'll say who you're recruiting and what you predict will happen here, and that'll be that. You guys have any comments or questions for me here?